At the risk of aging myself, there was a commercial when I was growing up for Tootsie Pop suckers, where a young child asked the wise old owl, "How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?" It was a setup to the premise that no one really knew because the sucker was so good that people bit through the hard exterior to get to that soft Tootsie Roll center before licking their way to it. In the world of financial services, the question should be, how many follow-ups does it take to get a response from a prospect I've already met with? And the answer would be, we never really know because 44% of people stop following up after just one contact, and 92% give up by the fourth contact. Yet 60% of prospects require 5 follow-ups, and that means 40% need even more. Why is that? I mean, they seemed interested, didn't they? Why are they now ghosting you? Well, there's so many things that can get in the way of that buyer taking the next step or following through on what they said they were going to think about it or look into something. And making a decision can be really hard. And you don't know what their reason for not following up with you is until you actually get a response. That's why it's important not to get caught into that trap where you start telling yourself stories that maybe aren't true. Stories such as, well, I guess they weren't really interested, or they were just shopping around. Or maybe, well, they've decided to work with someone else, or my fees were too high. That's a big one I hear. Those assumptions are going to zap your energy and keep you from those productive follow-ups that are going to get you a response when they are ready. And that's the key. Often you can keep yourself from getting into too much follow-up by at the end of every conversation having specific next steps and timeframes outlined. Identify and get their agreement on who is doing what by when. But if that doesn't happen, let's talk about good follow-up. First, there is no checking in to see if you've made a decision, checking to see how you're doing. Instead, frame up your follow-ups with 4 key components. First, remind them why you spoke. What was the problem, opportunity, want, or need that you discussed? Second, explain what you're asking for in your follow-up. Is it to talk? Is it an email response? Is it for them to send you or submit something so that you can move that opportunity forward? Third thing, give them a time frame to the action you're requesting. Ask for it by a certain date. And the fourth thing, explain what happens next. If I don't hear from you by Monday at the end of the day, I'll reach back out to you on Tuesday at 4 p.m. And always make everything focused on what's in it for them. Try hard to bring in what's the benefit for them to do whatever you're asking. To make this follow-up easy, create 8 to 12 templates. Make it a mix of email, phone call, and, texts if people have said that that's a good way to get in touch with them. And for phone calls, yes, it's okay to leave a voicemail. Keep it really short, letting them know why you're calling and letting them know when you're going to next contact them. So back to your question, how many follow-ups will it take to get a response from your buyer? Maybe 2, maybe 12. Heck, maybe it's 20 spread out over a year because then they're reminded of something. They've got to year-end taxes. It came time to a raise or they had to make another decision or there's an unexpected expense. And now they're ready to move something forward. You're not going to know until you get that response back from them. My suggestion is that you don't stop following up until you do get a response. Whether that response is stop, we're not interested, or we're going to do it ourselves, or the response is, I'm so glad you've kept in touch. What's next? Keep at it. Spread the time out over time. First, each week is good, then spread it to every other week, and then I would go to once a month, always letting them know when that next contact is. If I don't hear from you, you can expect to hear from me at the end of next month. Always let them know what's coming next. And an interesting tidbit to end this video. Purdue University researched that question to the Tootsie Pop. They created a licking machine and they found that it took 364 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. And then a couple human volunteers wanted to get on the bandwagon, and for human volunteers it only took 252 licks. And there you go. Maybe that's the answer to an upcoming trivia question for you.